Welcome back to Robin's Wreaths, an AQ magazine series quilt presented in 5 parts, where I am presenting tips and techniques for this quilt and future projects. Our lines are traced, but how do we keep them in place while stitching them down? Remember that my tips are for doing this project by hand. If you use the fusible bias tape maker, then fuse your vines in place, machine stitch them down. Roxanne Glue Baste-It, my best friend when doing applique. I had already used it for years, and then this perfect little bottle came out, and it was like the sun coming out on a cloudy day. If you've used the older bottles, you know that the needle dispenser would clog easily. This fun little accordion bottle uses suction to keep the dispenser clear and ready to use at a moment's notice. Okay, how much are we loving this red? Well, maybe not everybody, but I am. I've had it on my list for years to try a project using this red, and here it is. So, I have part of my vine done already, and I don't think you could see in the last video. I had to go back over it in Sharpie so that you'd be able to see it. Here's my vine. Here are my little leaf tick marks that I was telling you about. You're going to want to take a moment before you start this, if you've not done something like this, and practice what direction's more comfortable. I like to work clockwise. I just find that comfortable. Today it will appear a little awkward because I'm not used to doing it on camera. I fold my bias tape in half so that when I get to this end I don't run out, and I start in the halfway mark and I do bias tape this way, and then I will do the bias tape this way toward the curled ends. This is why I love this glue. So I can do a very fine line just like that, and then here's the suction part. You pull that back like this. You get a little glue on there. You just take it off with your finger. Stick that little top back on, and then I can start laying this down. Now remember, your bias tape is going to want to stretch. Do not stretch it while you're putting it on here, or when it dries, it's going to want to draw that background fabric up. So I'm just going to lay this in place where I want it and do this, just like that. Nice and easy. If you get a spot that's a little crooked, it didn't work right, this glue just pops right up off the background, and then you can put it back in place. Pull that up. And I get a nice fine line if I work in the direction I'm comfortable in. So again, laying that on there, pressing it down, no stretching. And that wonderful advice gets a little harder to accomplish as you get into a tighter curve like this. But it's okay. Remember, fabric is very easy to manipulate. So if you get a spot when you're doing one of these tight curves that gets a little buckle in it, that little buckle is going to be easily gotten rid of when you get ready to stitch it down. Now, I hope you're able to see this because I'm not working in my normal direction so that you can see it. But I'm just going to lay it, put it where I want it to go, curve it, press it in place. And like I said, it gets a little harder to do as you get into these tighter curves. Work from this direction. So I'm going to turn that without stretching, put that in place, keep turning. You're in charge, not the fabric. Fabric has to go where you tell it to go. Okay, now we're going to get to this last tight little bit right here. This is usually where I get a little buckle if I'm going to get it. All right, there we go. We have a vine in place, ready to stitch down. Thanks for joining me. Please show me your vines. I can't wait to see what others are doing with this project. Next time I'll share some embroidery tips for doing our stems. In the meantime, happy quilting. See you soon. Same bat channel.